Hi, welcome to the Pigskin Postgame Wrap. I'm Joe Cortez, joined by Brian VanderBeek and Ron Agostini. Guys, I think we all had the same game tonight. Wet wars of attrition.
I'm still trying to dry out.
Hey, you look a little...
It poured tonight.
It did. Well, I went out in the press box. I wimped out in the press box.
Yeah.
Slackers.
Oh, yeah.
Both of you.
You bet.
I was on the
wet.
field. I was on the field the whole time.
You're tough.
I know. It's true.
You're a tough guy.
It's true.
I'm always in the
With an umbrella?
With an umbrella
And a notepad?
and a notepad. I took stats.
Video?
Stats.
You have plastic over your
whole
thing?
Let's give it up for Brian
the umbrella.
VanderBeek.
I stuck the umbrella down my shirt and was able to... It worked. It worked, yeah. So you want to talk about that first?
Well, talk about what?
My game.
You want to talk about your game first?
Sure.
Fire away, Chris.
Escalon beats Ripon 14-9. Light rain the whole time. That's not a good field to start with.
Oh my
Escalon
God.
now 7-2, 4-0 in the TVL. They'll play Modesto Christian for the outright TVL championship next week in Salida. Ripon needed to win this week and next week to get the number 2 seed out of the TVL. They're now at 3-6, 2-2, and pretty much they're done as far as playoffs are concerned. Ripon got up 9-0 in this game. A 30-yard bad punt snap gives Ripon the ball at the 14. They score a couple of plays later, make it 7-0. Couple right before the end of the half, they have a great punt, pins Escalon down to the 1. Escalon mishandles 6 center quarterback exchanges tonight.
There's a lot of that going around.
6.
Was that because of the weather?
Yeah, because of the 2 in a row after this great punt ends up in a safety, and Ripon leads 9-0 at halftime. Second possession of the second half, Escalon scores a 35-yard pass from Caleb Mullen to A.J. Camarina, sets up a 15-yard run by Hunter Carlton. Bad PAT snap, gets scooped up and then run in for a 2-point conversion. So it's 9-8.
Oh, wow.
9-8.
That's a huge play.
Ripon has minus 18 yards and no first downs in the second half. A total of 15 yards for the game. But Escalon still needs a big play to get back in position to score. Midway through the fourth quarter, Brandon Grogan, a 70-yard punt return. He's finally caught at the 1. One play later, Wesley Dick bowls over for Escalon. 7:26 left. 14-9. Carlton, 21 carries, 110 yards. For Escalon, the rest of the team, minus 10 yards, as Escalon is held to 100 yards. I had 115 total yards in my game tonight, and it's all because of that field.
Were the jerseys just covered with mud?
Oh, yeah.
Could you make out uniform numbers?
Yeah, because I was on the field. Imagine if I were in the press box, I would have had trouble doing it. So there.
Ron.
I was on synthetic turf there at Chuck Hughes Stadium, so I had cleaner jerseys for Downey versus Davis. Wasn't much of a game tonight. Davis was beaten decisively by Downey, 42-7. Historic win for Downey tonight. This is the 63rd varsity football team for Downey. They've never won 3 straight league titles. Tonight they clinched no worse than a tie for their 3rd straight league title.
They'll play next week?
And they will play next week against Grigori for the Downey for the outright title. So
Grigori beat Enoch's 20-6.
Yes, and that sets up next week's big game. But no problems tonight for Downey, other than their homecoming got drowned out. The king and the queen got crowned under umbrellas, and the kids really toughed it out in tough weather tonight. But on the field, no problem for Downey. They had 5 possessions in the first half. All 5 go for touchdowns. They led 35-0 at half. Straight running clock second half. Andrew Raspo, a receiver, scored 3 touchdowns tonight for the Knights. 2 by receptions. 1 on a fumble Ruski that Downey may not have needed tonight, but it's kind of a cool play. They hit it for a 12-yard touchdown. Nice-looking sophomore running back for Downey, Malcolm Green, coming along nicely. 190-pound kid with a step. Rushed for 166 yards and a touchdown for the Knights. Davis avoided a shutout late on a touchdown by Zach Magana. But all Downey tonight. It was kind of a mismatch. That's the 8th straight win for Downey. They haven't lost. They haven't lost a game since October the 29th, and they go for an outright. So they can get greedy next week.
I mean, they probably shouldn't have lost the game they lost. They were up by 29.
That was against Pittman,
right? Or 19.
Yeah.
They were up by 19.
Wow.
On Pittman in the second half.
They easily could be 9-0.
Very, very well could be. Yeah. Well, I was over at Joe Debley tonight for the big CCC showdown between Merced and Turlock. Both were undefeated coming into this game. 10-7, Merced High wins in a war of attrition. Turlock looked like the better team in the first half. Really kind of moved the ball well, but they had 2 of their 3 trips into the red zone stalled out, and they only came away with 7 points in the first half. And looked like they were going into the locker room up 7-0. They had no more timeouts. Merced was just letting the clock run out. They snapped it with about 10 seconds left, gave it to their fantastic tailback, senior Jabbar Bird. He busts 40 yards up the left sideline, just like that, as the horn sounds at 7-7. You talk about a momentum swing.
That's a switch.
Absolutely. And then their sophomore tailback, Alonzo Gilliam. I covered his father when I worked in Merced. That's when you know you're starting
Joe?
to date. Yeah,
Joe Gilliam?
Alonzo Gilliam Sr. Late in the game, Alonzo Gilliam breaks a 40-yarder, actually a 39-yarder, and it flips the field. Merced doesn't score as a result of his run, but it flips the field. By the time Turlock gets the ball back, with a $1:19 left on the clock, they have to go 97 yards with, I think they had 2 timeouts at that time, but in this weather, they didn't get it done, obviously. So Merced, barring a major upset by Golden Valley next week, will be the CCC champs. Turlock and Pittman play next week for that number 2 playoff spot in the CCC.
Mm-hmm.
Turlock's got to win, unless they finish 5-5.
That's right. They're not going
And
anywhere 5-5.
it's not a guarantee. There may be a 5-5 team get in the playoffs.
It's not going to be Turlock, though.
It's not going to be
It'll
Turlock.
somebody from Sacramento.
Well,
Yeah.
somebody with probably a tougher strength
Yeah.
of schedule.
Yeah.
So both, Pittman's got the 6 wins. Turlock needs to win next week.
So we have a good Harvest Bowl coming up.
We have a big-time Harvest Bowl coming up. We've got a big-time crosstown clash.
That's right.
Los Banos won tonight,
So that's
looking for a score.
versus Pacheco next
14-6 over Central Valley.
week. That's not a very impressive score.
Well, there weren't many impressive scores. I mean,
That's
your
true.
score wasn't impressive. My
That's
score
true.
wasn't impressive. I mean, look at the scores we had from around the
I'll tell you
region.
one score that impressed me is Ripon Christian. Ripon Christian shutting out Mariposa.
Shutting out Mariposa.
That is a nice one.
Was Delhi beating Gustine tonight?
Delhi beat Gustine. That was a surprise too.
That would be an upset, right?
That
You
would-
got
that
it.
would
7-6.
be- Oh man.
And you tell me
Nobody
the
had
weather didn't have
No.
something to do with that.
Weather had everything to do with the results tonight.
I don't know, but on AstroTurf, on the polyturf, it's just not as big a deal.
It was a big deal tonight. There were a slew of botched snaps. There were a couple of interceptions.
Yeah.
Receivers dropping the ball. There were fumbles in my game, and you could tell guys just didn't have a grip. Just did not have a grip. Rob Scheit, the Merced High football coach, told me that it affected his play calling.
Yeah.
But in the second half, they went to more delayed stuff, more draws, little delay screens up the middle.
Our top-ranked team got beat tonight, right, Joe?
Our top-ranked team got beat tonight. Sierra falls from the ranks. We have no unbeaten teams now. And Manteca won that crosstown rivalry, setting up a huge showdown between Central Catholic and Oakdale next week. Winner gets a share of the VOL title.
That's right.
It's going to be a big one. And you've got Escalon MC next week.
Escalon MC.
You'll be at Downey Grigori.
Yep.
I'll be at the Corral. And you better be with us next week. Check out all our cool stuff at modv.com. You can read his story, my story, videos, photo galleries. Join us for our weekly chat each Tuesday night. Stanislaus Football Weekly.
You could read it while our clothes dry, okay?
You could.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, for Ron, Brian, I'm Joe. We'll see you here next week.